All right. It's in between. That means we get to talk about whatever we want in between the episodes. And today, because I made mention, I forget why I know, because the guys Richard always puts some kind of background on his Zoom call.
Yeah.
Sean had done it today, and I just, for whatever reason, thought it would be funny with the whole Chris Evans supposedly accidentally sharing out a penis pic or inadvertently sharing it out. I don't know what the correct adjective is, but
Right.
I was joking that I thought about putting it behind my pic, my image,
Your background,
my
yeah.
background, and
That would be your dick pic behind your pic.
yes, and so that was just the funniness of that. That's where it came from. I think the biggest thing we all wonder about is why do you even keep that on your phone? And to Sean's point, you can take a pic or whatever you want, but why keep it on your phone when you know that it's been dangerous to an extent to do that?
Well, I'll say, I'll give my opinion, and then it's going to be just a little bit long, and then you guys get in whatever you want to. There's nothing wrong with taking a picture of your dick or your vagina or your breast or whatever you want to take a picture of, because it's your goddamn body, and there's nothing wrong with that. The nude body there's nothing offensive with it. Everybody is born with it. Everybody has one. Half the population, maybe a little bit less, has a penis. Maybe a little bit more wants a penis. Maybe a little bit less wants a penis. Half the population has breasts and vaginas. Who gives a shit? Take a picture of it, store it on your phone. It's your goddamn body. Who cares? If somebody hacks your phone, that's a problem, because that's somebody stealing images of yourself that you don't want. If you accidentally share it, that's your problem. But if you're proud of it, own it. That's your goddamn body. If you're fat, if you're skinny, if you're whatever, I don't care. It's your body. It's skin.
In this day and age, why are we so shocked by it? Now, I totally agree when it comes to what was the incident called where all the actresses' phones
That's happening.
Yeah. So when that occurred and some dumbass
that's hacking,
hacks it and steals it, that's wrong. In a manner of speaking, you've sexually assaulted them.
They took pictures of their own bodies, which they should be allowed to do.
Mm-hmm.
They are proud of it. They're sharing it with people, which they should be allowed to do. But if people are stealing it and putting out there, that's wrong. Now, if somebody accidentally puts out there, that's their problem. But as long as they don't have a problem with the image that they put out there, that's their issue to deal with.
You totally buzzkilled my desire to talk about Chris Evans being a shot.
Somebody's going to hack my house at some point with all my Google cameras. I walk around naked all the time because I don't give a fuck. If my temperature is fine in the house, I'm fine. Now, I'm not asking people to come over and hang out with me when I'm naked, but it's my, ability or my responsibility or my pleasure to be in the comfort that I want to and take pictures that I want to. Why is it your responsibility to judge me because I'm happy with the size of my penis and I took a picture of it?
Well, I don't fault him at all. I think it comes down to, so having a 17-year-old child, I will not body shame. I will not sexual shame. I will not do anything with my child.
Quick. Sorry, Todd. 17. So that's still under all internet stuff. Is it 18 and over, or so? Is she? If she was to put inappropriate material, I'm not saying your daughter would have, but if it went out there, is she legally covered? I don't know.
Yes,
I don't know.
It would still be sharing images of a minor.
She's still a minor.
All right, so your daughter is covered. But anyway, sorry.
So what I say to her is this, again, I won't shame her for anything. Expression of yourself and your sexuality, as long as it's not harming anyone.
Ask questions.
Yeah, and Abby and I are, and her mother are all very open. We talk about everything. But what I said to her is, to me, you need to look at it like this. If you want to take that picture, and especially if you want to share it with somebody that you decide to be intimate with, go for it. It's your business. However, just like anything else in life, you take risks when you do certain things.
Yeah.
And this could get out there. So this is the only place where I feel like there's a stopgap that kind of needs to be addressed. Think about it. Do it if you want to, but just know there is a risk that your stuff could be out there. And are you okay with that? And are you okay with people being able to find it and say things about you? The things they say are not fair and not right, but that will happen. And if you're okay with it, then do it.
My employee Matthew, who was 25.
He's such a baby.
we were having a conversation about something similar to this, and we were talking about his Tinder photo, I think it was. And he basically said there is not a 25-year-old man or woman out there that does not have photos of their junk on their phone.
That right there.
He goes, every man and woman who is 25 right now has a photo of their junk on their phone right now.
Think of it this way.
That's how things. Now we're older. That's morphed. You're not going to find a photo of my junk on my phone. You're not going to find a photo of my junk on any old phones either. Nope. But I will say this: a lot of the gay dating apps, however, Grindr, Scruff, and so on, they kind of tend towards that because when they're definitely more sex oriented than necessarily.
That's like a benefit to your profile.
Yeah, most gay men
get more clicks on it, whatever,
photos on their phones.
Well, can I state what I actually found at the end of this to be? I don't know if I should say offensive, alarming, what, but I am the pop culture type person. When something like this happens and it happens enough, I'm like, okay, I want to see it. You know, I don't want to see violence where people are hurt.
You have the curiosity of seeing something new. People, celebrities go on film and show their boobies and their bits and bobbles. So you want to see it when it's not on a movie, and that's even human curiosity. That's not offensive.
No, and I actually think my curiosity goes beyond that. This doesn't have to be a nude pic, a peen pic. When something is hitting that pop zeitgeist, I want to know. I go look and I'm like, okay, what are y'all talking about?
Right. So, I agree with that same thing. That's kind of that was what led me to also kind of follow the links because Well, what I find offensive in this is that when I went looking, I didn't understand what I was seeing because apparently it was a gallery of images and one of them was a penis pic.
You couldn't find the picture you're looking for?
Every one of that was the penis pic was blurred out. And what I find offensive is then if I go look for Jennifer Lawrence, who I know is one of the young women in that frappening.
Oh, they were being sensitive to him,
yes,
but not to her.
These people are blurring a man, but the women, it's like, hey, here they are, let's all share it. And I'm like, that's a fucked up society.
Show them titties, but keep that dick away.
Yeah, and I thought, you're a real fucked up society when we're doing this, that I don't want either of these people who did not intend for this to be shared out. Chris Evans is a mistake, hers is hacked. Regardless, that was not why they had it there. But they're protecting the man, or they're saying we don't want to see penises, but the woman, let's just show her, and her body is ours because she put it there. That's from pretty fucked up shit.
Yeah.
So I cannot guarantee it, but I'm almost guarantee it. In our lifetime, the next 30 years, I'm hoping that's our lifetime, we are going to have a president, because that's going to be a kid that's 35 to 65, in the next couple of years, in the next 30 years. They're going to have nude pics out there. They're going to have weird shit on Twitter. They're going to have TikToks out there that, guess what? People are going to look at and go, don't care, because that's going to be the new normal. Yeah, we've seen somebody's dick. Yeah, we've seen somebody's breast. Yeah, we've seen somebody being an asshole. Guess what? That was being a kid, because that's what we do as kids. We're dumb fucking assholes as kids.
Right.
We just didn't have it recorded when we were kids. Now we're having dumb fucking assholes having their stuff being recorded as kids. They still get to be president, not because they were dumb fucking assholes, because they learned from being dumb fucking assholes.
Yeah, and I find that true because there's so many times, that you hear. And because I know I'm the only one of this group that follows sports, but there'll be
kids, yeah.
There'll be a kid. There'll be a kid that is coming to the NFL, and suddenly he's a top draft pick, prospective draft pick, and suddenly he's knocked down because somebody unearthed some tweets where he said very objectionable things, whether that be racial slurs, sexual slurs, etc. Now, those are reprehensible and disgusting, but it's like, I didn't have Twitter to be a pig
when you were a kid
that document everything I did, and I
fucking loved Rush Limbaugh when I was a goddamn kid. Yeah,
well,
so I'm glad there's not Twitter.
A lot of people. I know I hurt people growing up. I know I hurt girls I dated. There are a couple instances where I'm like, shit, I learned to be a better person because I know I was a dick. There's a weird accountability to it that our generation doesn't have. That where our
we don't have
our
we don't have
are
a
out there for everybody to
documented
see.
accountability. Yeah.
So it's a weird thing, and I think that's a pretty interesting idea that you're going to have somebody that's going to be the leader who everybody goes, yeah, well, you did this.
Yeah, you saw my tits, you saw my bush, whatever. I'm your president now. Deal with it.
Well, I think we're already kind of there with the now deal with
Well,
it.
I don't think it's going to be a deal with it. I think we're going to see that probably in the next 5 years to 10 years of the now deal with it.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a president right now who's already pushing that. I will never admit that I've done these terrible things, but so what? I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep moving past it. And I think that's a template for candidates in the future that do have these kinds of things. There is a point where I admire a candidate that goes, I'm just going to own it and just move on. What's the point?
Yeah,
you're not going to embarrass. It's not a gotcha moment. You're not going to embarrass me. I'm just going to keep going.
There's a difference between owning it and moving on, and owning it that something is wrong and not learning from it and moving on.
Well, I think that, when we look at this, the totality of what a social presence is, I've told Abby that I kind of foresee in her life that there's going to be a reckoning of social media, that's going to change, because I think eventually what's going to happen is some of this shit's going to become so acidic to advertisers that the money's going to go away from social media. And if the money doesn't follow, because the reason we have so many of these people out there is the Kim Kardashians of the world, the advertisers link onto them as influencers. And when that suddenly dries up and it's like, ooh, that's too much of a problem, well, the money will go elsewhere. And I think that you're going to have to see a reckoning of sorts where people look at social media and say, okay, we need to eradicate this portion of it. We need to change this type of behavior. It's going to have to change. It can't sustain itself like this. I just don't see that can happen.
Well, in the same way that we have child actors that are kind of molded and crafted by their parents' kind of influence and vision. Yeah, sure. I could see parents guiding their kids into being politicians or social influencers or actors or whatever, and keeping a complete tight on their social media. And that may be the only way that kids can navigate a future is if they have that kind of
Wait, you think there could be families that make social media empires, Kardashians? I mean, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but I mean, the point where that's all shaped and molded anyway from the time that you're 3.
That you're actually smart about it.
That you're actually smart about it because your parents are guiding you towards that, and therefore you come out a finished social media product, or actor or politician or whatever, because you were groomed to do this, and you never have that freedom because someone else is always doing your tweets and your stuff. We're letting our kids do that themselves right now, but that doesn't mean there's not parents out there that are actually putting forth the image of their child in such a way that it's shaping who they're going to become.
Well,
am I making sense?
Yeah, you are. And
I know what you're saying, but Herman Cain is still tweeting. So what are you talking about?
Well, exactly. I mean, I talked to somebody. We were talking about yesterday at the store about Joe Biden's island on Animal Crossing. Right, you can go on Animal Crossing and visit Joe Biden's island, and how smart it was and how savvy it was for the campaign to create an island on Animal Crossing for fans to go and visit.
Not having a Switch, I didn't realize Joe Biden had an Animal Crossing.
I didn't know that either.
He has an island. You can go visit him. He's got the sunglasses on when you go and visit his island.
Nice.
So is there an actual person playing as him, like talking to people and stuff?
I'm sure there's somebody who's actually he's walking around the island doing things.
Somebody is just sitting there. All right, they're hot swapping off with a Switch, going, all right, now you're Joe, go have fun.
They're farming, they're creating the houses in the village, they're doing all those kinds of things to make it a full island. The thing that is what's interesting is, now granted, the audience listening today, we're just coming off the town hall where Savannah Guthrie kind of brought up Trump retweeting some conspiracy theories about things, and her kind of just scolding him, saying, "You're not someone's crazy uncle doing this." Trump is born of his social media, but he also doesn't have somebody doing his own social media. These tweets coming from Biden aren't really from Biden.
Right.
They may be ideas of his, but he's got somebody handling social media and going, this is a zinger. This is whip smart. Corporations have their own social media companies. Politicians do as well. And I'm pretty certain actors as well, and that's where we're going.
I don't know if you saw this, but whenever she said, "You're not somebody's crazy uncle tweeting stuff," they actually tweeted his niece, who wrote that book just about him, and said, actually,